Remember that time when we all thought that you could only get strong at one angle for isometrics and that's why they were stupid and useless? I remember those days too. I don't know how I thought that was legit because it literally makes no sense when we apply logic and exercise science to it. So in addition to that one, we're gonna cover 8 myths about isometrics. This is gonna be fun. Strap in, get some popcorn. We're gonna go over number 1, and this is almost bad as the angle myth. Isometrics don't build muscle. One of the most common myths is that isometric exercises don't contribute to muscle hypertrophy. However, this is a misconception. Isometric exercises involve holding a muscle contraction at a specific joint angle without changing muscle length. This static tension still recruits a significant number of motor units, particularly when performed near maximal voluntary contraction or MVC. Sustained muscle activation can lead to increased time under tension, a key factor in promoting muscle hypertrophy. While isometric exercises might not generate the same muscle fiber micro tears as dynamic contractions, the metabolic stress and muscle tension they produce can still stimulate muscle growth. Additionally, the principle of specificity plays a crucial role because muscles adapt to the specific types of stress they encounter. Isometrics can increase muscle size, particularly at the angles trained, as they enhance the recruitment of high threshold motor units, also up to an additional 15 degrees in either direction. This is why we don't just get strong at that angle. This is especially true in exercises like plank holds or wall sits, which can induce significant metabolic stress and produce a hypertrophic effect. Moreover, incorporating isometrics into a training regimen can complement dynamic exercises, which I can personally vouch for, by providing a unique stimulus that might be underutilized otherwise, ultimately contributing to overall muscle development. Number 2, isometrics only increase strength at specific angles. This is my favorite one. I'm going to go over this in detail. Now, I'll play devil's advocate. While it's true that strength gains from isometric training are most pronounced at the angle of contraction due to the principle of specificity that we mentioned earlier, there is also a phenomenon known as the overflow effect. This effect indicates that isometric strength gains extend approximately 15 to 20 degrees on either side of the angle trained. This means that if you train isometrically at a 90-degree elbow angle, you will also see strength improvements in nearby joint angles, enhancing functional strength across a range of motion. Adding on to that, iso exercises are beneficial for activating neural pathways and increasing motor unit recruitment efficiency. This neurological adaptation helps improve muscle coordination and strength across various angles, even beyond the trained range. Over time, this enhanced neural drive contributes to better performance in both dynamic and static activity. Thus, while the peak strength may occur at the specific trained angle, the overall strength improvements can still support a broader range of functional movements, challenging the notion that isometrics are too angle specific to be practical, which is nonsense. Number 3, isometric training is only for rehabilitation. Many believe that isometric exercises are primarily for rehab and are not beneficial for healthy individuals seeking to improve their fitness levels. While isometrics are indeed invaluable in rehab due to their low impact nature and ability to maintain muscle activation without joint movement, they are equally effective in enhancing strength and stability in general fitness. For example, isometric exercises can improve core stability, a fundamental component of overall athletic performance and injury prevention. The static holds demand sustained muscle activation, which builds endurance and strength without placing undue stress on joints. Furthermore, isometric training can help break through strength plateaus by targeting muscle activation at specific joint angles, leading to increased strength and neuromuscular efficiency. The increased intramuscular pressure generated during isometric exercises can improve muscular endurance and help develop resilience. This makes isos a versatile tool not just for rehab, but also for athletic conditioning and enhancing general physical preparedness, demonstrating their broad applicability beyond injury recovery context. Number 4, isometric exercises don't improve cardiovascular fitness. Another prevalent myth is that isometric exercises don't contribute to cardiovascular fitness because they involve static holds rather than dynamic movement. However, isometric exercises can indeed elevate heart rate and stimulate cardiovascular adaptations, especially when performed at high intensity. The static contractions of muscles during isometrics increases peripheral resistance and blood pressure, which in turn demands more effort from the heart to circulate blood. This cardiovascular response can be particularly noticeable during sustained full body isometric exercises like plank or wall sit, which engage multiple muscle groups simultaneously. I'd also like to add, if you really want to feel this, try holding a yielding isometric dumbbell bicep curl for 20 to 45 seconds and you'll feel your heart start to engage fairly quickly. Isometric exercises also promote improved vascular health through enhanced muscle pump function, which facilitates venous return and improves circulation. This sustained muscle contraction helps with the flushing of metabolic byproducts, maintaining better blood flow and oxygen delivery to tissues. Although isometric exercise exercises may not provide the same aerobic benefits as traditional cardiovascular activities like running or cycling, they can still play a role in cardio conditioning, especially for individuals who might not be able to perform dynamic exercises due to joint or mobility issues. Number 5, isometric training increases blood pressure dangerously. Okay, this one's kind of fair. I used to think about this one a long time ago, but let's get into why that's not true. The myth: isometric exercises dangerously elevate blood pressure, which will pose a risk for those with cardiovascular condition. Yes, elevating blood pressure is not a good idea, especially when you have heart issues. While it's true that blood pressure rising during isometric contractions due to increased intramuscular tension and peripheral resistance is true, this effect is typically transient and diminishes once the exercise is stopped. Additionally, when performed safely and under controlled conditions, iso training can lead to long-term reduction in resting blood pressure. Studies have shown that regular isometric exercise training can decrease both systolic and diastolic blood pressure, likely due to improved vascular function that we talked about earlier and reduced arterial stiffness. The key is the application of the exercise regimen. Training programs that include iso exercises should consider the intensity, duration, and rest intervals to mitigate any undue stress on the cardiovascular system. For individuals with pre-existing high blood pressure or cardiovascular concerns, it's really important to consult with a healthcare individual before starting any exercise program, isometric or otherwise. Nonetheless, for most individuals, isometric training, when appropriately tailored, is a safe and effective way to enhance muscular strength without posing significant cardiovascular risks. Number 6, isometric exercises can improve athletic performance. This one is hilarious. Some athletes and coaches believe that iso exercises are not beneficial at all for improving athletic performance due to their static nature. I love to hear this myth because back in high school in the early 2000s, our coach always made us do planks in 6 inches, specifically the 6 inches. Man, were they brutal. But our core strength was on point. He knew what he was doing. A stronger core equals a stronger everything. That's a different video. He also had us perform squats in the middle of the gym floor, and they were brutal. Think of a wall sit, but just sitting, kind of like a horse stand. Our legs were on fire, but we were building up incredible muscular endurance. And even though I was a sprinter and the distance runners benefited a little bit more from those squat holds yielding isometrics, we were a lot more conditioned because of it. Let me explain. Believing that they're not good for athletic performance due to their static nature is kind of a dated view because it's overlooking the crucial role of isometric strength in stabilizing joints and enhancing force production during dynamic movements. Isometric strength is vital for movements that require a stable base, such as sprinting, jumping, or changing direction. For example, during a sprint, isometric contractions in the core and lower body help maintain proper posture and maximize force application into the ground, which is essential for speed. Additionally, isometric training can improve the rate of force development, or RFD, which is critical in many sports that require explosive power, which is the vast majority of it. By training muscles to exert maximal force quickly, which is important if you want to stay competitive, isometric exercises can enhance the neuromuscular adaptations needed for rapid, forceful movement. This is especially important in sports that involve sudden bursts of activity, like football or basketball, where isometric strength can contribute to more effective and efficient athletic performance. So, far from being irrelevant, isos can be a valuable component of a well-rounded athletic training program. Number 7, isometric training is boring and ineffective. Another common misconception is that isometric training is boring, monotonous, and lacks the dynamic engagement found in traditional exercise modalities like plyo, making it ineffective overall. Well, this perspective fails to recognize the mental and physical challenges inherent in maintaining maximal or near maximal contractions for extended periods. Isometric exercises demand a high level of focus, mental fortitude, and muscle endurance, which can enhance an athlete's mental toughness and resilience. This mental engagement makes isometric exercises far from boring, especially when varied with different holds and positions targeting different muscle groups. To add on to that, isometric training's effectiveness lies in its ability to target muscle groups with precision and intensity, often beyond what is achievable with dynamic movements alone. For example, in exercises like the isometric pull or push, the constant tension placed on muscles recruits high threshold motor units and stimulates maximal voluntary contraction. There's that MVC again. This can lead to significant strength gains and muscle endurance, making isometric exercises a potent tool for improving physical fitness and overcoming training plateaus. The adaptability and scalability of isometric training also allows it to be integrated into various fitness routines. It's very flexible, from beginner to advanced levels, debunking the myth of it being ineffective. And last but not least, isometrics are too easy. Isometrics are too easy. Oh god, this is hilarious. This myth stems from a misunderstanding of how isometrics work and how they can be applied for maximal benefit. Isometric exercises can be deceptively challenging, especially when performed at high intensities or for prolonged durations. I'm looking at you, OI. For example, holding a maximal contraction in isometric deadlift or squat can be incredibly taxing on the muscles, tendons, and nervous system, pushing even seasoned athletes to their limits. Isometric training can also be scaled to any level of difficulty simply by adjusting variables such as the duration of the hold, intensity of the contraction, and the position of the exercise. That's the sleeper right there. Advanced isometric techniques such as yielding isometrics or OI can improve immense resistance and stimulate considerable strength gain. So by focusing on muscle activation and control, isometric exercises can be tailored to challenge any fitness level, proving that they are far from too easy and can offer a substantial workout to anyone willing to really take that plunge and challenge themselves. Now, in our video, we did talk about angle specificity, which was our number 2 myth. If you'd like to learn more about that one in detail, I highly recommend you checking out the link here or here. It's either one of these, and we'll see you there.